Hey guys, it's Jason. Well, today we're going to be making up some teriyaki beef jerky. And in the process, I'm asking for a little help here. Deb from over at the Purbane channels already gave me one recipe. I hadn't tried it yet, but this has been the basis for my teriyaki jerky since I started making it. It's mango pineapple teriyaki glaze. They're going to discontinue it. So, anybody got any great ideas out there, shoot me a recipe. I'll give it a try. But we're doing about 10 pounds of meat. Excuse me. So we're going to use about half of that 80-ounce jug there, about 40 ounces of the teriyaki glaze. Then we're going to throw a cup of soy sauce in there. Just whatever brand you like. It's to thin that glaze out some. Then we're going to put about a quarter cup of liquid smoke in there to give you a little smoky flavor. You can go more, but I wouldn't do over a third of a cup, because you get much more than that, and it can make it a little bitter. So, like I say, I'm gonna stick with a quarter cup of it. Then we got cayenne pepper to give it some heat. If you don't like heat, you can leave the cayenne completely out. We like a little heat with our food, so we throw in a tablespoon, just 1 tablespoon of it. And then the last is garlic, 1.5 teaspoons. It can be fresh chopped garlic or this stuff out of the jar, whichever you like. But a teaspoon and a half of that. So let me get things mixed up here, and we'll come back and prepare the meat. Alright guys, got my camera set up here. It's kind of at an angle, so maybe I don't wind up just showing you nothing but my elbow like I do in so many of my cooking videos. It's time to do the meat. Step one is you put this stuff in the freezer for a little while, 2 or 3 hours, so that it'll firm up, get nice and solid. This is I almost overdid it with this. Step two will be to remove all this fat. This right in here, all this needs to go. So you'll wind up with pretty much 2 pieces here, like so. Like I say, that it's just the fat will go rancid on you. It'll make your beef jerky not last as long. Now, if you're planning on selling it or getting it out the door quick, giving it away, leaving this little vein right here probably wouldn't be a bad deal, because it really is yummy. The little pieces of fat that stay in there are delicious, but for long-term storage, it's best if all that's gone. So we'll get all that trimmed off and that out of there, and then we'll also take and lay it in 2 right here. Now, another thing is we're going to want to cut across the grain, and you can sort of see. It took me several people. I had to have this explained to me really well across the grain. You can sort of see the grain, the lines in it, and you're going to want to go across those, and you're going to want to keep your pieces kind of thin. If you get much more than a 1/4 inch thick, it's going to really increase your drying time. Now, I've done it, and it is good. It makes it a little more chewy, but there again, it won't be as thoroughly dried, and it's not going to last as long. So thinner is really truthfully better. I like to keep them around a 1/4 inch thick, but I'll show you some here in just a couple of minutes. Let me get this cleaned up and start slicing in it, and I'll bring you back in a few. Alright guys, this is what you wind up with. Here's all of your discarded fat, quite a lot of it when you finally get through with it. You wind up with basically 4 pieces. This is the top, this was the bottom. I've already been cutting slices out of it, and then that side piece on the other side of that vein of fat. So that'll make some nice small pieces to go in here. And this is about what you're looking for in thickness, right around a 1/4 inch. definitely not over a half. You can't get them all perfect. Some will be thinner, some will be thicker. I've got one or two in here that I actually have already gotten borderline almost too thick, but anyway, you just sort of have to go with it. And as you're dehydrating it, some of them will get done quicker than others, because unless you've got one of those slicer tools, they're going to be different sizes. But that's pretty much what you're looking for in the meat. Alright guys, there we have it. Now, I don't think I mentioned this before. What I've been using is a bottom round roast. But that's 2 of them, right at 10 pounds. I ain't sure exactly what they weighed after I cut all the fat off of them, but it's probably still 9 pounds or more of meat in the marinade bowl here. So we put a foil cover over this, set it outside in the beer fridge with a spoon on top of it. Every 6 or 8 hours, twice a day, something like that, go out and stir it. And I let it soak for let it marinate for at least 24 hours. I'll probably let this batch go for 48, because the longer it sits, the better it is, the more it soaks up. So anyway, we'll be back in a couple of days and put it on the racks, see what it tastes like. Alright guys, we got a good 48 hour soak on this mix here. So we're fixing to load it up in the dehydrator. Look at that, not beautimous. Now, we're going to have a lot of meat here. Last time we had to do a second tray. Aha, Scooty boy. Yep, my son smells me messing with the beef jerky, so he had to come see. Okay. Here's some that's already done, and I have his full attention now. Good boy. Yeah, good boy. But anyway, we're going to lay this stuff out on here. Just as long as it's not touching, everything will be fine. We'll run it about 8 hours, and in between we're going to rotate the trays about once an hour, and even with that, about halfway through the 8 hour mark, we're going to flip this stuff over. I used to do it without the what are them sheets called? Y'all know what they're called. Anyway, I used to do it without the sheets, but pretty dang difficult getting this stuff off the trays. So I've started using them, and the biggest thing is about halfway through you've got to flip them to get it to dry evenly. So anyway, we'll keep stacking. Now get back with you in just a minute. Alright, we got 8 trays. Packed it pretty close together, so and that's not a bad thing, having just 8 trays in there. It'll make it easier to move things around. So let's kick this thing on. 155. We'll spin her around to about 10 hours, and I'll be back with you in just a few. Alright guys, we're about 4 hours in on it. That's dehydrating up nice, but as you can see, we definitely need to flip it over and let the other side get some drying time. So let me roll these things over and bring you back when they're done. Alright guys, we're halfway through here, and it's time to turn it over. And as you can see, it's a real good idea to flip it halfway through. It just gets it more thoroughly and evenly cooked through and through. I'm going to tell you, that right there is like beef candy. Teriyaki candy, we'll call it. Teriyaki caramel. Honestly, if you used to dip apple slices in this teriyaki seasoning and dehydrate them, it'd probably be real good. It's really sweet. But anyway, that's it. Halfway through, I'll show you some. Let it go for about another 4 hours, and we should be all the way through. So, back in a bit. Well, I don't know what happened to the last bit of my audio, but anyway, while I was taking this wonderful beef jerky, wonderful beef jerky off of the dehydrator, the audio wound up sounding like you was scratching scratching your fingernails across the board. So anyway, yes, it is scooter approved. So anyway, luckily I had some left. Now this is what your jerky's supposed to look like. I guess it's the marinade. It comes out rather oily. Even after 9 hours in the dehydrator, it comes out rather oily. So what I've taken to doing is I'll just take and layer up with paper towel and let it soak that grease up. As you can see, it's been soaking for a couple of days, and it's pulled a lot of grease off of this stuff. So anyway, yes, Scooter's burping and making room for more. You can tell he's my son. But that's the way it's supposed to come out, sort of leathery. And with the sweet teriyaki on it, it winds up kind of sticky and gooey and yummy good. So anyway guys, y'all take care. Jason. Enjoy your jerky. And send me some recipes. I need teriyaki sauce recipes. Bad. Take care guys. Jason out.